found dry land in my Father's hands. I will rest on the shores that He keeps.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening to you. Yesterday, Moses killed a man and ran away. He ran to Midian. And today, we're going to be thinking about 3 periods in his life when he did not run away. And in fact, he experiences a period of stability and domesticity. The first of which is from Exodus chapter 2, verses 16 to 22. Now a priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and fill the troughs to water their father's flock. Some shepherds came along and drove them away, but Moses got up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. When the girls returned to Reuel their father, he asked them, "Why have you returned so early today?" They answered, "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. He even drew water for us and watered the flock." "And where is he?" he asked his daughters. "Why did you leave him? Invite him to have something to eat." Moses agreed to stay with the man, who gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses in marriage. Zipporah gave birth to a son, and Moses named him Gershom, saying, "I have become an alien in a foreign land." So it was Moses' turn now to stick up for the vulnerable by rescuing the 7 daughters who were trying to get water for their father's flock. He did not run away. The Midianites were a semi-nomadic people, descended from Abraham, so the same roots as Moses himself. And this unrequested assistance resulted in more than Moses probably had expected or bargained for. Initially a free meal, and ultimately a wife and son and acceptance in a foreign land. The meaning of many of the names in the Bible is interesting. Moses, meaning Hebrew for draw out of the river as a baby, and his son's name, Gershom, an alien there in a foreign land. Moses may well not have been aware of it, but God is always involved in his life and that of God's people. And the next short passage I'm going to read now is from Exodus 2, verses 23 to 25. During that long period, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God. God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. So God looked on the Israelites and was concerned about them. So Moses may well not have been aware of it, but God is always involved in his life and that of God's people. And the next passage today is from Exodus 3, verses 1 to 12. And here we finally get a close encounter between the Lord God and Moses. And Moses did not run away from this terrifying experience. Exodus chapter 3. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, "I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up." When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, "Moses, Moses." And Moses said, "Here I am." "Do not come any closer," God said. "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Then he said, "I am the Lord God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." At this, Moses hid his face, because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, "I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way of the Egyptians, how they are oppressing them. So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." But Moses said to God, "Who am I, that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" And God said, "I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain." So, an everyday shepherding activity became an extraordinary experience for Moses. God introduces himself and outlines the solution he has to the suffering of his people and the part for Moses to play. Moses is understandably gobsmacked and puts up resistance, asking, "Who am I to do this?" God replies, "I will be with you." Moses goes on to ask, "If I do this, who do I tell them sent me?" God replies, "I am who I am." The Hebrew word for Lord sounds like and may be derived from the Hebrew for I am. And towards the end of this chapter, chapter 3, God goes on to explain the task he has for Moses, which you might like to read to the end for yourself. But as we reach the end of today's devotion, I'll leave you with something to mull over. Has God given you a very particular task to do? If so, he will already have given you and equipped you to be able to do it, and he will be with you as you go.
Oh, be still, my soul, though the sorrows toll and the thunders roar all around me. I have found dry land in my Father's hand. I will rest on the shores that he keeps. High above it all, over anxious thoughts, there's an ancient song that attends me. From the lullaby to the martyr's cry, it is well, I will sing. I have found dry land in my Father's hands. I will rest on the shores that he keeps.